My name is Tarmack, and this is your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of October 14th, 2017. Our lead story this week comes from our dear friends over at the Humble Bundle because they're being acquired by IGN. Quoting Humble CEO Jeffrey Rosen, "We chose IGN because they really understand our vision, share our passion for games, and believe in our mission to promote awesome digital content while helping charity. I can't think of a better partner than IGN to help Humble Bundle continue our quest." End quote. This has led to a mild battle because conflict of interest is apparently a negotiable phrase. What we have is a journalistic group that now owns a storefront and publisher, which is not a conflict of interest in the same way as being the inspector for your spouse's restaurant is totally fine. Humble has done some amazing work, absolutely, with a ridiculous amount of money given to charity. That said, it's not their money being given, they're just acting as a pass-through, and the charity function of Humble has always been an essentially costless marketing tool. However, to combat one particular view that I've seen a few times online, Humble primarily operates on older games, so what conflict of interest exists since any reviews will be old? True, except the Shadow of War pre-order where the dollar sliders were misleading as to where the money was going. I think that you can expect to see more big-name pre-orders now that IGN is at the helm. And don't give me that they're running independently nonsense. Sure, right up until it's time to find a new CEO who does what they're told. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or SNES Classic, sold through the entire stock of 368,000 units in Japan in just 4 days. For reference, the NES Classic only sold 262,000 in its first 4 days on the market. So it's worth considering that both sold out, so we don't know what the actual demand is for these things, just that the supply isn't meeting it. Additionally, the SNES Classic has already been hacked, allowing for the installation of ROMs onto the little box. The bad news, or I suppose good news depending on your perspective, is that they're sold out and you'd be better off with a Raspberry Pi if you're already going to go down the ROM route anyways. Nintendo has commented that more units will be made available for the Christmas season, which certainly is the time for giving to eBay scalpers. Electronic Arts got its knickers in a bunch because of criticism being leveled at Star Wars Battlefront 2 for being pay to win. Battlefront 2 involves cards that directly affect in-game stats for its large-scale Star Wars battle game. By purchasing a bunch of cards, players get a play advantage, or so the controversy goes. Electronic Arts explained via a blog post that the most powerful items will only be available by getting in-game achievements. So EA, those early, less powerful cards that somebody can buy, would allow someone to finish the achievements faster to get the most powerful items then, right? Really, it's only the majority of the player base that will have to deal with the pay-to-win issues, since the number of people who will finish all of these most powerful item-generating achievements is statistically unlikely to be high. I'm sure it'll be fine. Gamers like microtransactions now, especially when they don't have to be good at a game, but can just buy the skill difference. Tekken 7, like some other mainstream games in the fighting genre, has no tutorials included in the game. The producer on the game, speaking to PCGamesN.com, said that the reason why they went this route is simply that they have data on what people spend their time with in these games, and that tutorials are not a big expenditure of time. Gamers just aren't doing them, either already knowing how to play or just doing what I do, which is mash buttons until I get to a skill level I can't beat, at which point I quit playing. I've got a great deal of respect for the fighting genre pro players. It's always impressive to watch someone who really knows what they're doing play like that. What interests me most about this situation, though, is that there are a lot of things in the game industry like it. It's easy to assume tutorials should be necessary in a game, and I believe that they are. But if the metrics don't show people using it, then it might be a waste of resources. I'm curious on a similar topic, that being retro games via places like GOG.com. I'd be willing to lay down a small wager of $20 that the vast majority of games bought on GOG.com are never played. Now, I could be wrong, but I suspect we'll never know because unlike Tekken, GOG is probably never going to tell us that, yeah, people buy old games, but then they don't play them. Both the ESRB and Pegi ratings boards have responded to recent criticism of blind box loot for real cash in video games. In the case of the ESRB, these blind boxes do not fit their definition of gambling, whereas Pegi declined to make a decision, saying that it's up to the gambling commissions to determine whether this sort of business constitutes gambling from a legal sense. So, there it is, folks. If you want to see some form of change on the topic of loot boxes, you're going to have to get involved by contacting your local gambling commission to register a complaint. Not sure what the odds are on a complaint giving us a win, because betting against the house is always a losing proposition. I'm not bluffing, and I think we're being cheated here with the bad hand we've been given. Please don't hit me. Following in the footsteps of Riot and Blizzard Entertainment, Epic Games is now entering the lawsuit battle against cheaters. The company has filed notices in a North Carolina court against two prolific cheaters who are ruining the fun for other gamers in Fortnite Battle Royale. The two cheaters in question are both involved in a cheat provider website. Both have had bans from the game, with one of the two having been banned at least 9 times for targeting streamers via their cheat software. Similar to the Blizzard and Riot situations, Epic is going after these two pillars of the gaming community under copyright grounds, arguing that the software in use infringes upon their copyrights. Frankly, there's very little here that I feel the need to devil's advocate for. Individuals who go out of their way to harm the experience of other people will get no sympathy from me. Unlike the two targets of the lawsuit, though, Fortnite itself is doing very well with up over 500,000 concurrent players at its peak. The Battle Royale game has fooled huge numbers of players who read press releases daily into buying it because the devs said that they enjoyed PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And our uplifting game news story of the week is that the Oculus Rift limited time only price drop down to $400 US has now been made permanent, communicated by an announcement from the company at the Oculus Connect conference. The VR market has been having some issues, which were mostly expected, with slow adoption rates, low involvement from the AAA game industry, and recent word that HTC had been considering selling their VR division. Where it comes to a new enthusiast device, often the best thing that can happen is bringing the price of it down. So to see Oculus embracing this lower price as a standard focus is definitely good for the VR market itself. It was only after HTC ran its price promotion on the Vive that I finally went out and picked one up, and I'm definitely not alone. With any luck, my own personal prediction that VR will really start to take off around Gen 3 will happen because there's great potential. It just needs killer apps and a change in mentality of design from traditional gaming. Your game releases for the week of October 15th to 21st are as follows. Dungeons 3 hits the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on October 16th. It's been out on PC for a few days at this point and has been getting positive reviews. 3 is the latest iteration in the recent industry trend of bringing back old game styles under new names. It plays similar to Dungeon Keeper, with the player being the evil mastermind digging out their dungeon, placing traps, and all manner of nasty things. For those who missed it last week, like me, if you enjoy Dungeon Keeper as a series, Dungeons 3 might be worth checking out. WWF 2018, yes I said WWF, screw you, World Wildlife Federation, will be out on the Nintendo Switch, PC, PS4, and Xbox One on October 17th. Play as your favorite wrestlers, and some that nobody likes, in the yearly iteration of the wrestling game franchise. 2K Games has made the claim that this has the most complete roster of any wrestling game they've made thus far. Now, if only they would add a mode where you can play as a wrestler hiding backstage while a match is going on, and then sneak up through the crowd, vault the barrier with a chair in hand, and ruin somebody's day. That I would love to play. And finally, South Park: The Fractured But Whole releases on October 17th on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Return to your favorite place to hate with your favorite vile little children as members of your adventuring party. You play as New Kid, an unknown hero with unknown powers and even more unknowns. I'll have something up on the channel on the 16th when the embargo lifts, but for now, let me just say that this game is going to get a lot of media attention for one reason or another. As though that was ever not going to happen with anything Matt and Trey do. This has been your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of October 14th, 2017. The upcoming week is really busy for me with the videos this weekend I've been building, the Tuesday stream, a new feature creep, and maybe another undisclosed edition. If you enjoy discussing the game industry, as I suspect you do, you should pop into Discord and chat with myself and other mature like-minded people. Link is in the description. My name is Tarmack. Thanks for watching.